World leaders are remembering the legacy of Margaret Thatcher today. The former British Prime Minister died Monday of a stroke. As Dale Hurd reports, she was more than a political titan. She was also a cultural icon.
It was said that Margaret Thatcher returned the great to Great Britain. She burst onto the political scene at the age of 34, the youngest woman ever elected to Parliament. In 1979, Thatcher swept the Conservative Party into power and became the first woman prime minister. Her political and economic philosophies were steadfast anti-communism, self-reliance, and free markets, unfashionable ideas at the time.
I presume this is to enable us to sweep Britain clean of socialism.
Thatcher found a kindred spirit in President Ronald Reagan and had a famous moment during the first Gulf War when she instructed a vacillating President George Bush that it was no time to go wobbly. She gained a nickname which she wore with pride.
The Iron Lady of the Western world.
She led Britain to victory when Argentina invaded the Falkland Islands. But in 1990, she was ousted in a bitter political fight within the Conservative Party. Still, Thatcher's legacy remains intact in the United Kingdom and around the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're leaving Downing Street for the last time after 11 and a half wonderful years, and we're very happy that we leave the United Kingdom in a very, very much better state than when we came here 11 and a half years ago.
Dale Hurd, CBN News.
And joining us now is Dr. Paul Bonicelli, Executive Vice President of Regent University and Professor of Government. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Glad to.
Now, first of all, Margaret Thatcher is regarded as a conservative hero. What are her greatest accomplishments?
Yeah, a couple of things that stand out. Of course, the Cold War. You have Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, and Pope John Paul II in power at the same time. And each contributed differently to the end of the Cold War. But above all, it was the toughness to face communism, to not say that we'll just live with it, to say that it enslaves people and we will fight it and it threatens us. And she was probably as strong, if not stronger, really, than the other two, the men, in her bold pronouncements about it. The other thing I would say is providing an excellent model for women in politics and leadership. She did not owe the feminist movement anything. She made that very clear. She did everything on her own. As the daughter of a grocer, up from the middle class in Britain, that's a big deal to us. That's not such a big deal. But in Britain, that was a big deal for her to climb that way. So I think her leadership, the way she did it, and what she did are the two great legacies.
Awesome lady. Well, she once called Ronald Reagan the second most important man in her life. How crucial was the Reagan-Thatcher alliance?
This is where those who deny Providence have a difficult time. To have Margaret Thatcher, Ronald Reagan, the Pope in power, Helmut Kohl in Germany, and a few others around the world, Lech Walesa living and fighting communism. It's really that combination of those people and their efforts and their beliefs that promoted their efforts.
How has the world benefited from their partnership?
I think the partnership produced two kinds of leadership, or two results of leadership. The end of the Cold War, facing down communism, giving Gorbachev, a communist who wanted to find a different way, even though he didn't really want to get rid of communism, an option to work with them. And secondly, proving to the world that free market economics is the only way people can have wealth, the only way people can achieve. The government cannot solve people's problems. They can solve them themselves if the government gets out of their way and allows the gifts and talents God has given everybody to flourish.
And who are the heirs of their philosophy today?
You have a lot of Republican governors right now. You certainly have any Republican in the United States would say, I'm an heir of the Reagan-Thatcher partnership and their ideas. But you have a lot of Democrats as well, because when someone is as profoundly influential as Margaret Thatcher, and I think Ronald Reagan was, you have people like Bill Clinton, centrist Democrats who look to them and accept, some of those ideas make sense. I'll adopt some of that. Tony Blair, her successor, who was a man of the left, the Socialist Party essentially in England, came very far toward her ideas.
What do we know about her Christian faith?
We know that she was traditional in her Christian beliefs, raised in a very strong Methodist family, and some American conservatives, Christian conservatives, think that they would have loved to have heard her say more about abortion and things like that. My understanding is when she spoke about those things, and it was rare, but when she did, she spoke in favor of the traditional family, she spoke in favor of life, and thought that these things were part of the bedrock of a strong society. She wasn't just about free market economics, she was about the strength of the individual and the family.
Excellent. Dr. Bonicelli, thank you for joining us this morning. We
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it.